Hello everybody. I wanted to share with you a video, and I don't know how long it'll be, but it will be an intense study, I guess you would say, of the Lactuca plants that I have in my yard. Now, I have posted that the UT Knoxville was a dead end for me because they are only concerned about plants or weeds as it applies to agriculture, not to medicine or anything. So we're back to the fact that, okay, as long as it's a wild lettuce, that's going to have to be good enough. Identifying the individual species is not as of much importance as knowing for sure that it is a wild lettuce. Now, the wild lettuces are the ones that still have the white sap. Lactuca sativa, which is the parent of all of the grocery store lettuces we have now, no longer has that characteristic. So there are bitter lettuces, there are prickly lettuces. There are over 50 different varieties of the wild lettuces, and there are 7 different varieties of the Lactuca Virosa. So I got a little storm coming, so I'm going to try to do this fairly fast. Now, I want you to look right here. Let me make sure it's the only thing in the shot. Okay, this plant right here is a Serriola, which is the prickly lettuce. It is called that because it has prickles on the underside that are very pronounced and prickles on that edge that are very subtle. The leaf and the plant, as you can see, compared to the rest of the green, is a gray green. You see that the plant is different in its characteristics of it's not lush and full. It's kind of sparse and gangly. It does not yield a lot of leaves, but its medicine is as potent as the Virosa or any other wild lettuce. The Canadensis I am again preferring for the same reasons I preferred the Virosa last year, is it yields more usable plant matter. Now, when you break the stalk off of a Serriola, it does not grow back from that break like the Canadensis or the Virosa does. But it does put out little stalks, little shoots off of the main stalk at various places. Now, the bloom on it, I don't have one that's open right here. Maybe we'll find one on the other side. But you can see, here is the seed head. I am letting these on my plants inside here fall where they may. Let the wind take them where they may. I have several tops that I do have in brown paper bags that I am collecting the Serriola seed because it is an easier to grow plant. It grows everywhere all over the world. And it seems to be the strongest of the Lactucas. It can cross with some of the other Lactucas, but that is its characteristic. The Virosa does not cross. It changes on its own based on the area that it grows in. But those are Virosas, 7 different species. That's why when you Google it, you get so many different photos. So now, this is the Serriola, and it has a small yellow bloom. Now, it's plentiful. It grows everywhere. Look at these wonderful little seed heads. Isn't that darling? Okay, so now we're going to go over here to the Canadensis. Okay, the Canadensis is characterized by its arrow tip. It's a very pointy tip. It is a true green. It has a smooth leaf. When you rub very delicately on the underside, it has a slight texture, but hardly any at all, especially on these leaves on the top. You have the bud head right here. It will grow up like these others and be a spray, like a fountainous spray of flowers. Now, it too, depending on where it grows, can be lush and full, or it can be scrawny and spindly like mine is right here, because it's growing in this shade part of my yard. Now this one right here is the very, very tall one. My other one in the front got blown over by the high winds the other night, and I have all of my tall plants wired up now. They are all wired to a fence. Now you can see where I have pulled those leaves all the way at the bottom. That is the key to not having the rust or the mildew or any of the blight that we find in some of the wild lettuces. Now, right next to it, and I've got to be careful because I've noticed that there are some little ones that are still coming up. So I'm trying to spot those very carefully. Now this is a very tall Serriola right there. You see it. It's very tall. Now I'm going to come over here. Now this is the one that is the Virosa, one of the Virosas. Now I'm going to show you something that this is why it's hard to differentiate sometimes. You see that this tip is pointed, but when you get down here to the bigger leaves, the older leaves, that tip is not pointed. With this wild lettuce, there are 2 or 3 stages of leaves depending on which plant it is. All of the plants have a purplish type stalk. It will show up somehow, even if it's very subtle, like right there. Okay, so again, if you're looking at it with your bare eyes on that midridge, if you get up close to it, you can kind of see, but some of these do not have hairs. Some of the leaves, some of them do and some of them don't, but we're going to prove it. Look at that sap flow right there. Look at it. Now, these wild lettuces, the ones that are the non-prickly, are called bitter lettuces. Now, all of the lettuces are more bitter than what you would find in the grocery store, but that's what's good for you. So this one, even though I haven't pulled leaves off the bottom, there is no rust, there is no blight at all. So the way that I have these set up, kind of interwoven with other plants, and they each are its own single plant, that has been what has been the optimal health for the plants. And this is one of the things that I want to suggest to you guys to do, because if we just bring those plants into the yard, sow those seeds in a spot, and again, the seeds are problematic. They're tricky, they're hard to get going. But if you do it in one area, you're going to be able to control what goes on around your plants. And you see, mine are spectacular. The ones that I see like behind grocery stores or at other little places out in the wild, they're rough looking already. But all of mine are just very pristine looking. And my mullein plants too. Mullein typically has brown bottom leaves, but because I've come out and I've pulled the leaves from the bottom, as the plant grows up, I keep a better plant. Now, this one right here, I have two side by side that are the Virosas. They are not the Canadensis. And my camera does not do these plants justice. Once you're around them and you're standing there and you're looking at them side by side, well, yeah, you can pick out those differences, which is why I have become good at it. So that's why I encourage you all to be looking at these plants, getting as many seeds, as many different varieties as you can, and grow them, and then it becomes second nature to you. Okay, we're gonna ope. Now this one is a first year Lactuca. It's gonna stay like this the whole time. Now this leaf is kind of blighted right here. This one's very strong and healthy. It is not putting off a stalk, and it has been this size for 3 months. So this is a first year plant. So I will have one for next year right there. I like the Serriola and the mullein next to each other because they're the same color, and the contrast of the leaves and the nature of the plant, I think is really pretty. Now let's go to a Canadensis. Now over here, all of these little leaves all have the arrow tip, even with the bites out of them. You see, it's not curved at all. They're all pointy like an arrow. That is the Canadensis. That is one of the identifiers. So I know that on the video, a lot of these are just going to look like all green stuff. Here's another first year plant down here, and it is a Lactuca, and I'm going to pull those leaves to help it be healthy. And I do have to come out and pull a lot of leaves. Now this one, I didn't get wired up. What happened? Okay, well that's alright. I can tell it's getting too dark. My pictures are not coming out very well. I can see the darkness in them. But I do want to just let y'all see these up close so that you do become more knowledgeable. You see these leaves right here, even though they have the bites out, those points are not arrow-tipped points. So I want to leave that with you. I was trying to find any small, like real T90 ones, because I know y'all are trying to go out and find them. Right now, as warm as it is, here's another first year plant right here, and it's way too dark now. Y'all aren't going to get a good picture. But I have brought you out, and I've shown y'all some of the identifying characteristics again. I'm just going to keep doing this. I will always try to answer emails about identifying the plants for you. I got 200 almost new subscribers this week, so there's a lot of emails coming in and a lot of comments in the threads, and I just want to say that I wish I could respond to everyone. Like, I wish I didn't have a day job and I could just immerse myself completely in this and be able to respond to you all, because I feel that this is so important. So until my next video, I'm going to go batten down the hatches and get ready for the storm. Remember to eat the wild things. God bless you all.